The angle right.
You got to get the angle right, and I never do.
Show us more chest.
Yeah? Do you think that'll draw more people in? My tattoo.
YouTube's
That's how
gonna
we
be
get
like
the
immediate ban.
permaban. Come on, guys. It's our first.
Okay.
Oh.
All right,
Right.
dropping that link in Discord for everyone.
Okay. I'll have the Discord open. And then I need what? The YouTube open as well?
Yeah. Here, I'll text you the.
Don't worry, folks. We will be able to see your comments. That's the
That's
goal.
right. That's the goal. I restrained myself this time, Leo. I haven't watched this trailer.
Oh my god.
People
a
were
Gom
in the
Jabbar
Discord
first.
talking about it.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh.
all every time I opened Twitter, it was right there.
Oh my gosh. I'm so
But
proud of you, buddy.
I restrained myself.
I'm
I had
so
a pretty
proud of
busy
you.
day too, so that was a little
Oh, you
easier.
didn't even choose. You were just busy. I thought this was character growth.
Only minimal character growth. Daniel, welcome.
Lord Party. Let's see. And there we are. Live,
Stream's
new.
looking good.
Immediately mute this. Okay.
I guess I should tweet about it too.
If people have shown up, Daniel Dion. Hello, welcome.
Right, folks are starting to trickle in. We'll give it a couple more minutes,
Sweet. I guess I
and
don't,
then we'll
really,
dive in.
I don't need to see us, but I want to. Yo, jabronis. What's up, Zaptagus?
Perfect.
Another day, another Solaris. Classic saying. I was like, I have chat messages from Riverside. Oh, it's you.
Yeah, I was testing the chat here. Although, wait, look at this text button in Riverside. Folks on the stream, look at what we can do. Ready?
Whoa.
Little messages, and we can create whatever you can see in the interface on the back end here. We can create anything we want, and then you just hit show, and then
Whoa.
it animates in.
Whoa.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Pretty good.
So, folks, today we are going to be watching this new Dune Prophecy teaser. I think it's
Yep.
only like a minute. It's not very long.
1 minute and 10 seconds of glory.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to watching that. I was saying earlier to Leo that I haven't actually watched it at all today, even though it's been out all day today.
6 hours.
Yeah. So clap for me, please. Thank you. F's in the chat
Oh.
for
Disruptive if I do it. Yeah. Everyone else clap.
yes.
Everyone whose microphones aren't on.
Yeah. And that's kind of the Dune Prophecy thing is actually kind of a late minute addition. What we're actually here to do
Yeah.
is watch the new Cinema Sins video. Everything wrong with Dune Part 2 in 21 minutes or less.
I'm so excited. I love CinemaSins.
Yeah.
And as much as I love. So this is going to be one of the very few times that I know so much about the material. I will probably be able to like counter some of the things he says, but also, fair. Like, yeah, if you don't
Yeah.
get something, you don't get it.
Right.
So Abu,
I
do you
used to
want
watch
to do
every single Cinema Sins video
yeah,
back
everyone?
in college and stuff.
Yeah.
But then I kind of forgot about him. Like, I don't know if I like changed to YouTube account. He just like disappeared off of my algorithm forever. And
Yeah.
I haven't watched in years. So it'll be interesting to see if anything's evolved or if it's the same format I remember from like 7 years ago.
Exactly the same.
Oh,
I
yeah?
never stopped. I like if there's a crappy movie that comes out and I'm like, I don't really want to see that, but I like what was it? Madam Web.
Oh, yeah.
I watched the Everything Wrong with that. Sometimes it's just cathartic to like see someone break something down as I'm working on something.
Right.
We've got John Galt, Promethean Jedi. Good Lord. Who is John Galt? It's a
He's the
reference for you.
Promethean Jedi, as you
Oh.
can see in the parentheses of his username.
That's true. Yeah. It's also a literary reference. Cool. Well, do you want to do the sisterhood? God, prophecy.
Not Sisterhood, Dune Prophecy.
prophecy breakdown first?
Yeah, let's do that first because it's nice and
Let's
short.
knock this out. Yep.
Yeah.
And then anybody throw sand in here. What up, Luna? Luna the Sayadina. Oh my gosh. Good thing we have a Sayadina here to officiate our stream.
That's right.
Would be pretty rough
For
otherwise.
posterity.
Yeah. Hey, V for Vertigo. For Vertigo? V for Vertigo. Oh,
That's
I
right.
get it. Okay. Now, okay, I have to share. And we're going to leave this up for anybody who couldn't make it, right?
Right. Yep.
Okay, sweet.
Public stream, and then we'll leave it up on the YouTube channel for folks to watch later because I know it's kind of a weird time in the day.
Yeah, that is true. And let's make sure that this stays at 1080p. Sweet. Share. Oh, what? What's that? Okay.
Okay. Are we all ready, folks?
I am so excited for this. Oh my gosh.
All right, Leah.
You ready, Abu?
Mhm.
By the way, quick side note, since we last responded or reviewed or reacted to a Dune Prophecy teaser, I have read the entirety of Dune Sisterhood.
Oh, wow.
So
So you'll have thoughts.
I will have thoughts, although very clearly this is taking place in a very different timeline. All right, let's check it out. Hitting play. Oh, and everybody in chat, let us know what the volume situation's like. I might preemptively turn this down a little bit because it's usually pretty hot. All right, we'll see if this works.
You wish to
Good lord.
serve the great houses and shape the flow of power. You must first exert power over yourself.
The more influence our sisterhood gains, the more enemies we make.
There was a time when you took my views seriously. Instead of allowing those sorceresses to woo you.
The sisterhood, they hide in your camp. And do our thinking for us.
Our hands are poised on the levers of power, and yet our grasp on it is still fragile. I am trying to protect the Imperium. Sacrifices must be made.
Oh, good lord.
November.
Whoa, I missed that part. I was reading Clean Raven's heartfelt message. Thanks for listening, Clean Raven. You're so great. You're so nice. November, it said?
Yes, right at the end there. No hard date, but we got a month.
Dune Prophecy.
This
Whoa.
November.
For 4 frames. They were like, it's not a hard promise.
Right. It's a very soft November promise. Wow. I mean,
Wow.
the fact that we have a month is truly incredible to me.
Yeah.
We have spent years on the podcast talking about this show, sort of living in production hell.
Yeah.
And I, for one, did not have my money on it coming out in 2024.
Yeah.
But I've been proven wrong. I'm excited.
Yes. And also, as many of us wonder, how can you put together something like great in that little time, right? Like things of quality often take time.
Yeah,
I don't know.
True.
Makes me a little nervous.
You wish to
Okay, let's kind of skip through this a little bit. So, I can say Dune Sisterhood is all about like the early stages of the Sisterhood and how they end up on like, Lampetus and then how they get Wallach 9. So these are probably sister acolytes, right? Sisterhood acolytes.
serve
Totally.
the great houses and
And shape the flow of power. They're checking out a pensive, listening to someone's memories.
Yes.
the flow of power.
Okay, we got some dogs out.
You wish to serve the great houses and shape the flow of power.
Let's see. dogs.
Yep.
Gripper's out.
You must
Sweet. Seems like they have a lot of costume changes for these poor acolytes. A
I
lot
was
of
gonna
different-
say, do we think this is probably the same acolyte we group saw a second ago at the start
Probably.
of the trailer?
I'm gonna say,
Probably.
I mean, how many extras are you gonna hire?
first exert
Interesting.
Oof. Power over yourself. Okay, and she's in this interesting room that we've seen in photography already. That like scaly orb room.
power over yourself.
We got some hand speech.
Love it. Classic Benny Gesserit.
Classic Benny Gesserit. Pretty sweet.
The more influence our
Pretty cool. Okay.
sisterhood gains, the more
So I don't know for sure. Maybe I should pull this up. Is this Sister Dorothea? Maybe? IMDb Dune Sisterhood? No, it's called Prophecy. God bless.
From the chat, Ben made a point that I totally agree with.
Yeah.
Ben said, I think I'm mostly excited that we get to see more of the universe and individual planets. Look at those landscape shots. And I agree. Every time the
Yeah.
camera cuts wide in this trailer, I do get a little giddy.
That's a very good point. And I think that's along the lines of like more Dune, good Dune. Generally, we're pretty happy with this sort of
Yeah.
thing, for sure.
And look, you can look at this. Anyone who doesn't know Dune and saw the Denis Villeneuve films can look at this trailer and be like, wait, are they making a Dune TV show? Because it just instantly looks like Dune, you know? They've really committed to that Denis Villeneuve look and aesthetic.
Totally. Yeah.
And I think that's a smart choice.
Yeah. Great point. Yeah. A lot of the set design, costumes, it all looks very in line with what Villeneuve did. So I'm loving this like chemical station. Like maybe one of the big points of the sisterhood becoming created was trying to find out the poison that allows people to like repeatedly awaken. So maybe this is that sort of like crafting station where they're throwing together their elixirs.
Yeah.
Wow.
And once again, we're seeing the acolytes.
Yeah. Here, I'll go
And
back.
I'm getting the sense,
Yeah.
as we know, most trailers are usually just out of context shots pulled from the first 40 minutes of the movie or from only the first episode of a 8-episode season.
Right.
That's what this feels like to me. This feels like we're seeing some acolyte origin story, and a lot of these shots are from probably literally like the opening half of the first episode, you know?
Yeah, which is kind of fun. It's nice to
Yeah.
get through the first 30 minutes of a show and go, hey, look, I've seen all of what I've seen before. Now it's all new.
Exactly.
And Ben says, loves that they can maintain the style that Denis Villeneuve set, even though this takes place 10,000 years prior. Yeah, absolutely. I think they had some wiggle room there, and they chose not to use it, which is great. So, yeah, to, gosh, Ben's earlier point, look at this.
Look at that.
What is
Royal
this?
Palace on Kyton, I
Kyton,
presume.
probably.
Yeah.
I love the like sculptures in the gardens.
I know.
That's really beautiful. And
So good.
right after this, we get our look at Strong. Or no?
There was a time when you took my views seriously.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, Dorothea is the sister assigned to the Emperor Carino
Gotcha.
in Sisterhood of Dune. So maybe that's Dorothea. I don't know. They changed so many character names. Okay. Oof. Okay.
I mean, that
Sandworm?
is sandworm mouth, right?
This is a
Of
sandworm.
course. Okay, glad we had the same thought.
It's a popcorn bucket. Looks like a popcorn bucket to me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I am curious. This is me kind of going out on a leg here, but these sequences we're seeing right here, spice agony, acolytes undergoing spice agony,
Oh, maybe.
and
yeah,
maybe
they're sort of
maybe
like
that
dreamlike.
one acolyte scribbling a sandworm mouth is just her scribbling what she's seeing in her agony visions.
Yeah, there's also one of the themes is people failing and coming out like permanently kind of disabled, where their like minds are torn apart and they're, but there's one who seems to have potential to become a mentat. Like they're
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe mentat training can help her salvage her sanity. But this appears to be Sister Emmeline. Maybe? No. Someone else? Oh my gosh, so many people, so many characters. I don't know any of these people. Okay. So we go forward a bit.
Vertigo points out that that sister in the last shot was just sketching out the concept art for the popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
Spot on.
What is that popcorn bucket going to look like? Let's figure it out.
The sisterhood, they hide in your camp.
The Sisterhood, they hide in your camp. So we've got some antagonism. Okay, that guy is
Right.
Desmond Hart.
Okay.
Though
Is
I
he a
don't know
book
who that is.
character?
He
Do
is
you
not.
remember from the book? Okay.
I think he appears in one of the later Brian Herbert books. Wonderful See Men Try and Die. It's good. I would bet. I'd put money on it.
Are thinking for us.
Our hands are poised on the levers of power.
Doing our thinking for us is such a inflammatory idea this close to the Butlerian Jihad, right? Like this is around the time of the Butlerian Jihad, the idea of the sisterhood telling them what to think. Maybe that's like the battle we see.
Oh, interesting. The Sisterhood book is before the Jihad?
The sisterhood book is on the tail end of the Jihad. But
Okay.
so the Jihad happened, past tense. And this seems to be after, like, one of the main characters here is Vela Harkonnen, played by Emily Watson. And Emily Watson's in her middle age, I guess. Vela Harkonnen in the book is like 16. So I think this is taking place later. But regardless, this is still fresh off of the heels of the Butlerian Jihad. And one of the main antagonists of the book, at least, is a Butlerian fanatic, basically, who's basically going around fucking people's
Gotcha.
shit up for no reason. Yeah, Desmond is apparently a totally new character, says Ben. Okay, interesting. So cool. They're taking some liberties, and that's probably for the best because I did not enjoy the book. Oh, perhaps the prophecy is what leads the sisterhood to make their long-term goal, the Kwisatz Haderach.
Ah.
Daniel
I
Dion
think you're
dropping
onto something,
some
Daniel.
Kwisatz Haderach level observations.
Right.
So this is Lancerad, probably?
Oh,
But
good.
yet our grasp on it
Good
is
observation. Yeah. Some sort of.
Good lord.
Oh,
that
that
looks so
beautiful.
fucking good. That's so cool.
The show's just got to stay wide the whole time. You know?
Wide shots.
Wide shot, wide shot, wide shot, wide shot.
I want to
Just
hear.
Only give me wides.
I want to hear two people talking at this distance.
At this distance, right? Vela Harkin is at the edge of that pier,
Yeah.
way down there.
Director's like, zoom out, zoom out. No,
Out,
keep going. Back it up,
further.
back it up, back it. Okay, that looks great. The first ever show shot a quarter of a mile from the actors. Interesting.
grasp on it is still
Okay, and then these kind of look like maybe early Sardaukar.
That was my thought as well.
Like, but here we have was that Desmond again?
Right.
Yeah. So maybe this is actually his like armed force that's acting as like kind of the instigating.
Yeah. Maybe just like Desmond ninjas. They're sort of like a rogue mercenary group or something.
Ninjago. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, just based on the color scheme, they are wearing black, and the only soldiers that wore black in the movie were Harkonnen. And
That's
the
true.
Sardaukar actually, they wore white. So, but I don't think that's a tough connection to make without more context.
Yeah, for sure.
But they are masked up. They're not 6 feet apart, but they do appear to be masked up. So
They're not. Social distancing. Not as they're vaccinated. Though, so
right,
That's fine.
right.
Okay. Let's see a little bit more.
I am trying to protect the Imperium.
Oof. Okay.
Okay.
Is that the boy from the marriage scene in the first teaser? Like maybe that political marriage that we see a clip of in the first teaser?
Yeah, hard to tell.
That wide shot did have 2 moons. Yes, Ben. But I also feel like 2 moons is, excuse me, everybody. Whee! Okay. 2 moons is kind of like a quick way to indicate you're on an alien planet. So I don't know that that's Arrakis. It's too wet. Too wet for Arrakis at this time in the Imperium. Planet X? Oh, could be.
Oh,
I don't know how many
did-
moons.
I would
many
love to
moons
see
does X
Planet
have?
X. My goodness.
I would love to as well. Do they have water? The Harkonnen homeworld, Giddy Prime, is described as having like a whale fur like industry So maybe that's Giddy Prime as well, like a different part of the planet.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I would
Yeah.
put money on us seeing Giddy Prime, considering the Harkonnens
Yeah.
are central characters.
Oh, I certainly hope so. That'd be sick. I'm fine with that. All right. Okay, and then we get these little shots of the love fighting. Shields look great.
Shield's looking good.
It's interesting though. I guess that yeah, the shields aren't going around their swords. Makes sense. Wow, pretty good. Okay, she screams.
Mhm.
Exciting.
In distress.
Oh, did she have blue eyes? Blue and blue?
Love
A little bit?
her outfit too.
Yeah,
The
her outfit's
costuming
great.
has been pretty good.
Bill, Ben saying, fervently researching what planets have what planets
Right.
have 2 moons.
Somebody check the encyclopedia. What planets have 2 moons?
All right. Whoa, party scene.
Okay, we're going to a rave. Dune rave.
Dune rave. Excellent. Ooh.
Okay, the rave's getting fun.
It's proper spice orgy. Okay, we got some making sex.
Which is critical to a Bene Gesserit story.
Yep, important. We've got might be an early use of the voice. Could be like she's showing her potential. That looks like kind of a voice like thing.
Right.
He said Mars. Oh yeah.
This looks like that opening laboratory scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the acolytes are probably watching the instructors do some shit here, some Bene Gesserit stuff.
Yeah. There's a the head of the Suk school in Sisterhood of Dune is like indebted to the Sisterhood and will often examine those women who are comatose who have like failed the spice agony. So maybe this is an autopsy to like see where they went wrong or something like that. Kind of looks a little bit like it. And also it makes sense then why I guess they're kind of dressed the same though. These are medical scrubs in the Dune universe. Okay, we got some ships. Ooh, guys.
Okay,
volcano
Action
birthing.
Jackson.
Action Jackson. That's his name. First name Action. Middle name Action again. Okay, little scanner thing.
Got it. Red dress, blowing, fun. No idea what that could be.
Zero clue. Yeah. And there's Vela Harkonnen.
Yeah.
Sacrifices must
Hey,
be made.
you know what?
Hmm.
Now that I'm kind of looking, I think we're going to get a long timeline over this season. Because this is Vela Harkonnen, of course.
Yeah.
But the girl screaming, didn't she kind of look like a younger version of her?
Oh, maybe.
So maybe
Like
we
it's a
see,
flashback
probably just in the first episode or so, or maybe a flashback episode,
to explain character.
her
motivation stuff.
training, her come up in the Bene Gesserit as an acolyte, give us like exposition and context for Bene Gesserit abilities and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it probably cuts to like modern day Vela Harkonnen politicking.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
then this
okay.
November.
Dang. Looks good.
So fun.
Yeah.
That'll be here faster than we know it.
Yeah. I don't know how we even begin to prepare for that.
Yeah. I mean,
guess I should-
I certainly have to read the Sisterhood book to do some sort of preparation.
I've got it if you want to borrow it.
Yeah, I'll need to borrow it, I think. I'm not spending money on fucking buying it. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to, we'll get in touch with HBO and get screeners. And
Yep.
we'll do episode by episode coverage like we would for anything else.
Of course.
But it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I will say, I said this when the first trailer came out and we did
Yeah.
that first live stream.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to be proven wrong here. I've been very vocal and opinionated on the podcast ever since we heard about this show, ever since it was called Sisterhood,
Mm-hmm.
that I was skeptical that it would be any good, that it would even come close to Danny Villeneuve's vision. I was very skeptical that we'd get any sort of story. I was skeptical about Brian Herbert's involvement and how much they borrowed from his work. I am now hopeful. I think that feeling has actually shifted, and it's thanks to these trailers. We'll see if the story holds up. You know, the visuals look stunning, but it could be the prettiest show in the world and just have the shittiest dialogue and story.
Yeah.
And that would be extremely disappointing, but I'm a bit more hopeful than I was now. I'm genuinely looking forward to it.
Yeah. I mean, shots like this, I'm like, I think it's just going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
See, the thing that I'm on kind of on the fence on is clearly some of these characters are mentioned in later books. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should read like 2 more of Brian Herbert's books. But that first one really took it out of me. People were like, you are devouring that book. And I was like, it's torture. Every page is torture. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Daniel
tough.
Dion.
It's tough to know how much book reading we should do in preparation, considering it seems to really be taking its own course.
True. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Also, Daniel Dion, watch parties, sounds great. Sounds like a good time for
That
sure.
would be super fun,
With the
yeah.
Discord. Yeah. That's how they get you. That's how they're trying, for sure. And Zaptages, I
I'm
like
gonna
your
put
observation.
on my pirate hat and
Zaptages, I like your observation that this might be kind of how Blade Runner is to Electric Sheep. It'll be like a whole intact story, cherry picking details from it.
yeah.
Don't do it. Maybe. Okay, cool. Well, that's the teaser, official teaser 2. You ready to watch this Everything Wrong With video?
Yeah, let's do it. This will be fun.
Okay. So, excellent stuff all around. And bring this over. Everyone excuse my slow, weird computer. Okay, great. And okay. All right. Ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Arrival was the same way. That's true. Oh gosh. It's my friend Michael.
Seeing as how this comes directly before the WB logo, I'm pretty sure this is the voice of David Zaslav.
not.
He routinely says this when he kills a project for a tax write-off. 30 seconds of logos after the movie has already started.
Imperial Diary, year
Fair.
10,191,
Fair. Always
third
fair.
comment.
When I read from my diary, I choose not to read the comments. The Imperial Diary community is so nasty and negative. Also, just because you're reading from a diary doesn't magically make this not narration.
True.
Taking your Cheops/pyramid chess and making it look a lot like
Hey.
Junior Mints is at war with Mentos, aka go f yourself.
But my father's always been
Wow,
guided by the
props for knowing
calculus of
Cheops.
power.
Math.
Sister, father is dead. Shouldn't you go back to the stars, be with him?
Paul seems to have no idea where babies come from. Also, the first couple of minutes of this movie are like, what if Terrence Malick made a Dune movie?
I don't know who Terrace Malick is. Oh, dang it.
For those in the
Okay.
market for flavor.
Muting this. Don't buy
Man,
it. Don't buy it.
Hit with the ads already.
I know. They knew Cheops. I'm impressed. Oh, skip. I'm sorry. I should have skipped quicker.
Gotham's budget is so small nowadays, they're using cheap
That's a
cutouts
real-
to fire up the bat signal. As incredible as this technology is, it is interesting that they seem to have stopped developing it at not quite flight.
Nah,
I'll remove all the sins from both of these Doom movies if Worm Sign means they all run like mad into a movie theater to make sarcastic comments about 1984's Dune. And as long as I get to be Grody Robot. Premature celebration. In the time it take for Paul to
True.
run and fight one of the Harkonnen, Jessica has circled around all the way to the top of this dune because she sensed a disturbance of the Force and knew she had to crack this guy over the head with a rock. Even if that is all possible, I'm still sending the Atreides family for being much faster on sand than they have any right to be. Well, you did, but then you felt the need to rub it in before you shot him, so now you're dead. Won't be needing this anymore.
Never stand with your back
Yeah.
towards the open.
Why drop
How
the...
many times do I have to tell you that? Huh?
Was this the first? Because this movie is clearly taking place right after the last one ended. And the only thing his mom has really taught him is how to use the voice. I highly doubt they've been in enough situations where she's had to tell him about leaving his back turned to the open. Besides, this is the f***ing desert. How can you keep your back away from the open consistently?
Such a
Okay.
It's like
good
you're
point,
late
yes.
of desert war strategy.
Except okay, hold on. He's just ignoring the fact that she was training him on how to use the voice at the beginning of the first movie. They had his whole fucking childhood. She was teaching him shit the whole time.
Right. And
All right.
Gurney literally tells him, "Don't keep your back to a door" in the book. So.
Yeah. I'm okay. That's my first sin that I disagree with. I'm like, you're ignoring the fact that he is like 16 years old or something. Like, you know, they've had life outside of these two movies.
Yep.
All right.
They do not usually venture this deep.
Sometimes I like to imagine my college girlfriend said that to me instead of my roommate. Wow, I didn't even see that sandworm Bugs bunnying through the sand to get here. I guess it was just camped underneath, biding its time until someone knocked.
Yeah, I suggest you get some rest.
Once again, some poor underling gets killed for something not his fault, just so we know that the bad guy is truly despicable. I'm glad they did, because I was really beginning to like this Hugo Drax guy.
He's asking why we're so late. He thinks you're spies.
But he decided to bury the lead by first scolding the extremely unimportant punctuality.
I think I'm their messiah. Others, false prophet.
Seems like every high school movie these days needs a Clueless style introduction to all the cliques. Where are the stoners and the jocks, Paul, huh? Tell me that. You can keep saying it, but I have yet to receive visual confirmation.
Woman, come with me.
This is exactly how Javier Bardem landed Penelope Cruz. Drinking someone's eye water.
How does one become a Reverend Mother?
Here on Arrakis, I have no idea.
You mean you didn't bother to ask Stilgar about this after he told you about it? They're just gonna throw you into a situation completely uninformed?
Reverend Mother.
Yes. Yeah. She's just kind of bluffing the whole time. So, yeah.
That's true.
Second sin I disagree with.
It's a task withholding the memories of all the Reverend Mothers that came before them, so I'll be given centuries of pain and sorrow. It's lethal for men.
Why? Why is it lethal for men? We don't find out until later that it's because she has to drink a blue poison of some sort. But after she said she had no idea how they anoint Reverend Mothers here, does she know that? Do all ceremonies include some sort of lethal ingestion? Or is the act of downloading 500 terabytes of memories dangerous in and of itself?
Okay, fair. That's a fair point.
You're so good at sensing and feeling, huh? You're just now finding this out.
Yeah, I thought that while watching the movie too.
Having a holy poison, but no holy hand grenade.
Only one step remains, and you will become the Kwisatz Haderach.
All this focus on being the Kwisatz Haderach, and I guess it's not good enough for someone to simply become the Burt Bacharach.
Now that's interesting because in the film books I've studied, the anthropologists say in order to properly say Sandwalk, you actually have to.
Lisan Al Gaib spelling. So, what's your idea of the perfect date? Oh, you know, something simple like a long romantic sandwalk on the infinite beach. Anyway, I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. I want a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. Paul completely stopped paying attention to Johnny's instructions so he can ogle, and he doesn't even pay for it dearly by dying of thirst.
We must convert the non-believers one by one.
I'm taking this as an excuse for the lengthy runtime or an open threat to draw this movie out into a part 3. The Fremen engage with the Harkonnens, and I am focusing on this one guy shooting at them who inexplicably gets shot by someone off screen, even though all the Fremen in frame have daggers. None of the other Harkonnens get shot during this entire sequence, so who's doing the shooting on the Fremen side? Also, I guess only one of the Harkonnens brought a gun. The rest opted for agility weapons, which makes none of the sense when you're wearing these bulky, top-heavy spacesuits that appear to give you no range of motion in your arms. I don't know, guys. This feels a lot like that Flash and Wonder Woman moment from Justice League. It's close enough that I can't take any chances. If the shield goes up after the guy stopped firing, how did Chani's rocket not get deflected by the shield? It feels like a cheat. You wanted to show the rocket getting blocked by the shield momentarily so that it would be that much more satisfying when it somehow made it through, even though we've been told that's impossible. Shit, man. Just show the rocket smashing into the Thopter without this nonsense. It's just as satisfying, and you're not breaking any rules. Wow, those are impressive. They might have also come in handy with destroying the crawler right away, along with killing the Harkonnens before you guys even went into hand-to-hand combat.
We talked about this
when it was mowing all your friends down. Penis tent.
Hey! Stilgar!
Bullshit. Neither one of you heard the other.
It's breathtaking.
Skip! Failing to properly secure your blade. Awesome.
Oh.
It looks like the movie took my advice about simply using the lasers in the first place and not worrying about hiding in the sand for a sneak attack that ends up killing a bunch of your own people. I've been meaning to ask you all, do these hologram radar screens actually tell us anything? Or are they just here to make the movie look expensive? Movie shows a random thopter getting destroyed, which I guess the shields we were worried about earlier weren't up this time. Also, showing me this random thopter getting destroyed tells me almost nothing about how the fight is going. I suppose this means they're winning. I'd think by now that all the Harkonnens would have formed better strategies after all this destruction.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yes, she's here. It explains fully that Chani and Paul are now sleeping together. Now I want to know about the sex and whether the sand is rough, coarse, irritating, and gets everywhere.
Nothing fancy.
Classic.
You will shame my teaching.
So Stilgar's been giving worm riding lessons to Paul? I know this is a tough ask in a movie that's almost 3 hours, but can I see it? How do you do that exactly? Has Paul actually ridden a worm with Stilgar, or is this the first time he will ever jump on one in his life? Since Paul's the only person I've seen grabbing a worm, and he does it so haphazardly, I'm confused about how the death rate of worm riders isn't at least 50%. Look, let's not be stupid. The Sam worm riding scene is worth at least 5 cents off. I'm real happy for Paul getting on that worm, watching him ride off while the Fremen cheer him. Got a question, though. How do you make the sandworm stop? I'm glad that Paul wore his protective visor during this ride. How the f*** is he seeing anything right now?
So
this
true.
thing needs some automatic wipers. Using a close-up to avoid answering the obvious question about moisture recapture.
We gave
They're in
them
a still
something
tent.
to hope for.
That's not hope!
And I guess none of the Fremen down below wondered why Paul was yelling, "That's not hope!" at the Reverend Mother.
very
While Paul
audible,
riding
that's
that
true.
grandfather worm was super impressive. It kind of takes the piss out of it when it seems that everyone and their mother can hop on one of these things like it's an Amtrak. Also, you suddenly need to be a home plate umpire to drive one of these things. How flavors get more done? More saving, more cooking? You can cook it, we can help?
I've lost them.
I wonder if productivity has improved since Raban began the snapping necks policy for completely understandable mistakes. Raban comes up with the genius idea to create a big dust storm with all his bombs and then go fight people in it when he can't see shit. It's getting harder to credit Paul with being a great leader when his main opponent appears to be an idiot.
So funny.
Wow, even the
true.
good guys say stupid shit whenever they're trying to kill someone with plot armor. And let's be clear, the only plot armor Raban has is that Gurney Halleck hasn't shown up yet. Also, this is the only time the Harkonnens have gotten off a competent shot.
Muad'Dib, the prophet, the one who points the way. These are our own religious patterns, aren't they?
From this, the princess is able to figure out that Paul is still alive. Never mind that Muad'Dib and its meaning was established long before Paul and Jessica came to live with the Fremen. After reasoning that this is an unusual name for a Fremen, she just figures it out. This is taking sleuthing to an impossible Sherlock Holmesian level. Fade being all
That's a good
like,
one.
hand paint me, like one of your French girls.
Would you like some fresh meats, my darlings?
Fade Routha's impersonation of Baron Harkonnen is so incredibly good that you'd swear you should have seen him hanging around the Baron more often in Dune Part 1. This deleted scene from the movie Elvis shows a lighter side of the King of Rock and Roll. Baz Luhrmann donated the scene to Denis Villeneuve for preservation in Dune Part 2. We are lucky to have such stewards of cinema willing to go to such astonishing lengths to preserve film history. How do the Harkonnens have any underlings left after all the murders they constantly commit against them? It amazes me that in the year 10,191, large, enthusiastic crowds still pack arenas for Disturbed and continue to be delighted by Down with the Sickness. Ah, Jesse Eisenberg!
So good.
It's very confusing why the Harkonnens are not facing consequences for what they did to the Atreides. There's a lot of, oh, if the great houses only knew the truth, they would be pissed. Are the great houses not going to hear word of this very public execution of these 3 Atreides soldiers? It's amazing to me in a movie almost
the
3 hours that
collaboration
we
with
have
the
time to see an entire
Emperor.
reimagining of Gladiator shot in black and white featuring the engineers from Prometheus. It's like an apology to Ridley Scott for making a sequel to Blade Runner.
Here we go. Heads and take off more.
Yeah. Ben's comment is fair. Yeah. These videos are very nitpicky. And again, it's just for entertainment.
This is the guest wing? People agree to be guests here? Now I'm completely taken out of the movie with this out of nowhere Reese's dark chocolate peanut butter cup ad.
The bloodline is secured.
Jesus Christ. This is the quickest movie pregnancy since Species.
What happened between him and his mother?
He murdered her.
Kids. When did the Fremen get mines? Talk about something super useful that they've never used until now for some reason. Luckily, Paul is the first asshole to come out of this ground, or else Gurney would have been f***ing toast. Just as luckily, this is one of those operations that requires people to bury themselves in sand, and they didn't just laser beam Gurney's ship out of the sky in the first place.
I recognize your footsteps, old man.
Man, I'd remove a significant chunk of sins if this just turned out to be someone matching his stride. None of Paul's Fremen buddies wonder why Paul is being buddy-buddy in the middle of hand-to-hand combat. Buddy? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this has gone on just long enough. I recognized Gurney ages ago, but I let people die anyway until I rolled a set of dice in my head.
If I go south,
You know,
all my vision.
I'm going to pause here only to say I feel as though we didn't really get any sense of this, like any kind of direct evidence of this, but I get the impression that Paul knew from intel that this troop was Gurney's. And that is why he was forward. That is why they were using like non-lethal things. That's why no one got killed between him, you know, talking to Gurney and telling them all to stop. Like, I don't know for a fact. That's like my headcanon. But that's the impression I get, is he knew Gurney was part of this, whether that was they observed him walking or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. That's a fun headcanon. Plus, they lured the smugglers to like a spice thing, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of just like shooting them out of the sky.
In the book, they actually made the spice patch that lured them. But yeah, in this, we've seen that they can preemptively destroy people, and they're not. So yeah.
That's good headcanon.
For sure. Yeah, and V for Vertigo, assumed. Yeah. Cool.
Lead to horror. Billions of corpses scattered across the galaxy.
But maybe we should wait until we're somewhere private to talk about this. Even if this is movie whispering, I'm pretty sure I just put the fear of God into half these people. Okay, which timeline are we on now? Is this MJ approaching Thanos, or is she approaching Cable? Why haven't we gotten a Thanos versus Cable movie yet? Or a Captain America versus Johnny Storm movie? I'd even settle for a Samuel Stearns versus Dr. Allen movie. Just give me all the verses I can handle! So wait, you're asking me to focus for once and send Dune 2? There is no Dune 2, idiots! That movie bombed so bad that Sting left the police and they broke up soon after it came out. Those are just facts. Anyway, back to sending Dune 2.
I know where your father hid the family atomics.
On the next Family Atomics, Jill goes on a date with Michael while also going on a date at the same restaurant with Brad. Classic double booking. Can she juggle both at the same time? Tune in to find out. But also, why didn't Paul know where the atomic bombs were hidden? The guy was being groomed to be the next leader of Arrakis, and you're telling me his dad just kept that a secret from him because... Also, 8,000 years and humanity hasn't come up with something scarier than atomic...
Sin! It's not 8,000 years, you fucking idiot. Got him! Someone didn't. He knows how to say Cheops, and he didn't know that this is 20,000 years in the future? What a stupid man. Stupid!
Should have looked at the encyclopedia.
Should have just listened to one of our episodes. Movie Sin Man. John Movie Sins. All right.
Weapons? I do not believe you.
Only with your genetic heritage.
So wait, this vault can only be opened by an Atreides. So why even bother hiding it? Gurney made a big deal about how this place is hidden in plain sight so that people wouldn't look for it. But it sounds like they could have simply put it smack dab in the middle of Arakeen and it wouldn't have mattered.
Absolutely correct.
Way more.
That's a good sin.
You could blow up the like mountain it's hidden in, which would be kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So no one could access
like
them to use them.
Secrecy for secrecy's sake.
Yeah.
I don't know the nuclear codes. I also don't know the location of most nukes. You know, the nukes don't work without the codes, but I don't need to see in Google Maps where the like nearest nuclear bomb is.
That's true.
So,
yeah. People are not going to be
secrecy's sake.
happy to know that.
Right.
Against light switches than I expected.
Imperial Diary.
This device seems needlessly complicated to record voice notes. Granted, this looks kind of cool, futuristic, and primitive at the same time, but we've seen so much insane technology in these movies. This is like someone taking down their thoughts and pressing it on a record.
Please keep that.
I will say that is a fair point considering the holograms that like Villeneuve added possibly because of that graphic novel. Like having holograms in the same movie as like this like etching tube feels weird. I think if you start having like holographic things, that starts edging the technology, the way we perceive the technology, closer and closer and closer to futurism. And then having like a tube etching for the princess of the galaxy, it's like is she on like a used model that she got from a yard sale? Why is she using this old tech?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Cheyenne Sagasa.
Yes, the movie will be much richer after we see how the water of life is extracted from a baby sandworm. My daughter is adding 2 extra minutes to the movie so that I can simply tell you to give the drink to my son when he drops by. Holy shit! In this Sarah Connor T2 vision, Johnny becomes Dr. Kurt Connors, a.k.a. the Lizard. God Damn you, family atomics!
Old-fashioned artillery. Genius.
Genius. Are you telling me it didn't occur to you that you could shoot at them with your big guns till just now? The Atreides being defeated by the Harkonnen is beginning to feel embarrassing.
My lord, I would recommend you stay inside those...
Is there an actual function these assistants do that the Harkonnens value? Hell, I advise the assistants to keep their mouths shut, but A, that won't guarantee their safety, and B, my throat will be sick if I dare mention that to them.
Your poor darlings are hungry. There's no food for them on the flight.
Was it important for me to know that Fade booked economy?
What are you doing here?
How has Raban not been informed of Fade Rotha's ascent to power yet? Also, movie makes me debate what's on screen, which is Austin Butler kicking Dave Bautista's ass with the reality that's in my head, which is not that.
Or even
Director said, let's have your character eat something that looks like an eyeball. It will make you look like even more of an asshole from a planet where apples probably don't grow.
The Harkonnens aren't done here. They just went back to reload.
Excuse me, what? They just went back to reload? Is that what I'm hearing? Because of this absolute dumbassery, the Harkonnens give everyone just enough time to be upset about the attack and head south before they come back to finish the job. Why didn't Lex Elvis have a whole fleet waiting after they bombed this place? Went back to reload is almost as unbearable as we're running out of fuel in The Last Jedi.
Talk to me, Thomas.
I'm not quite sure why Paul is hoping Thomas will speak to him beyond the grave. I guess he feels guilt over killing him at the end of the last movie or something. But what kind of wisdom is he expecting from him? The guy was not exactly an influential person in Paul's life before they got into that duel.
You killed 9 of
He
my...
was,
Okay.
though, in his visions.
He was. He's the reason Paul and Jessica survived the Coriolis storm. Like, not
Right.
even reading into it. That's just what happened.
Right. He was instrumental in Paul knowing things
Yeah.
because Jamis in another timeline taught him everything he knew about
That's
being a
a
Fremen.
that's a hashtag got him number 2, I think. Maybe number 3, something like that.
Men with one single blade.
Man, that would have been exciting to see. Now they've set up tents on the worms? That really takes the excitement out of the whole worm riding thing.
Okay, gosh.
La cerveza ma...
Daddy.
Oh? Hello.
That's okay. Skipping.
Wad Max, Fury Robe.
Okay, Furiosa fucking slapped, though.
Was it good?
It was so good.
Do you need to whisper in visions? Like when you're in a library? Chani arrives by ornithopters, which is weird because I didn't know she was in a different place, and I was under the assumption that the Fremen only used analytic transportation. If the prophecy says Paul will be revived by Desert Spring Tears, which pretty much explicitly means Chani, since her Fremen name is Desert Spring, why the f does she need the water of life? This is the only justice that will be served in the entire movie, and I'm not sure enough people will notice that because of all the cool world building, great imagery, and or something like that.
She'll come to understand.
Post-nut clarity?
Our enemies are all around us, and in so many futures they prevail. But I do see a way. There is a narrow way through.
Movie steals the Doctor Strange from Infinity War.
So this is how we'll survive. By being Harkonnen.
That is the Doctor
I don't think
Strange
that
from
factors
Infinity
into what
War.
happens.
Yeah, but also happened, 60 years before that. And The Talk just discovered our podcast, reading through God Emperor for the first time. Love listening to our book club episodes. The Talk, you're awesome. Thanks for the comment.
Nice. Thank you for listening. Hope you're enjoying the read-through.
Yeah, God Emperor, what a trip.
We've gotten into Heretics book club as well. And we're working our way through that book over on Patreon, so it's a fun one.
Beef's falling.
At all. You end up making a play for the throne where you kill the Baron and his nephews, but I figure you could do that without being a Harkonnen yourself. This interminable slow-motion walk through a crowd brought to you by Zack Snyder.
It's cool.
Zack Snyder could never.
Aggressively exercising your Lisan al-Gaib privilege. Groundhog Daying respect.
Dune.
Roll credits. Or ride in on a credits worm, if that makes more sense. Also, how is Dune a Fremen name when we've been seeing and hearing stuff that is
Yes.
clearly influenced by Arab?
That line
Dune
makes no
is
sense.
ultimately derived from...
Yeah, I mean, the Fremen do call Arrakis Dune in the book. Like, Arrakis is the imperial name for the planet, and the Fremen call it Dune.
Yeah, but so does everyone else.
So, ish.
No, not Ish. We looked this up.
Did
There
we?
are many people in the books that call it Dune that are not Fremen.
Yeah, well, in the movie, there's Baron who goes, "My Arrakis, my Dune," which doesn't make any sense
explicitly says it in the movie too.
in the movie. And then in the book, the people who call it Dune, see, if it's anybody in the House Atreides, I would say that's them researching and trying to
No, I
ingratiate
think
themselves.
Irulan calls it Dune as well in the book.
After the fact? After
don't know.
Paul rises to power? Because if it's after Paul takes the throne, then the whole universe calls it Dune because he's the emperor and he's the Fremen emperor.
All right, Leo, keep stacking up those hoops. I'll keep jumping through them.
We'll look into it.
We did look into it.
Did we?
Yes, it was on the mailbag episode. This
Listeners.
exact Dune quote came up, and we talked about it, and we did our research, and I remember that other characters that aren't Atreides or Fremen say Dune in reference to Arrakis in the book.
Okay.
And so yeah, this line, like still to me makes no sense to this
Makes no
day
sense,
after
yeah.
having seen the movie
That's true.
many times now. Yeah.
Wasn't referred to as the Dune times in the future books, but yeah, but that's my point. Everything past the first book, it's going to be called Dune because effectively a Fremen took the
culture
imperial
has become
throne.
dominant. Yeah.
Yeah, the Fremen become dominant. Exactly. So yeah. Oh, we'll have to look. Oh, I'll look into it again. I'm doubtful. But,
Sure.
I have bad.
Pull
memory,
up that
so.
old script that we wrote. Yeah, for that mailbag episode. It's in there.
I grant you're close to it being Fremen, but you're a few letters off.
This is my father's ducal signet.
It's been over 2 hours. I think we all have to take a ducal signet. Literally. Also, writing official messages on shower curtain rods. Do you guys think that when Charlotte Rampling goes to bed at night, all of her dreams have a burned-in image of this netting?
For 90 generations, we have supervised House Atreides. They were promising, but they were becoming dangerously defiant.
This might matter to me at all if I knew even a little bit about what this meant. In Dune Episode 1, we see Papa Atreides do exactly what the Emperor asks. So, what was the issue? Did they refuse to eat their vegetables?
The sandstorm that's approaching threatens the integrity of our
Yeah,
sheep.
and there he kind of misses. She's talking on behalf of the sisterhood, not the emperor.
Not the Emperor, right?
Yeah,
It's
they're very
sister
different.
clans that they're starting to be unruly against. Yeah.
Yeah. Spice Miner from the Sandworm attack scene refers to several men as Dune men. Interesting. Well, Spice Miners are going to be close with Fremen and smugglers.
Right.
How rude of
Another-
it. Goodness gracious, great ball fire.
God,
I
this
don't
whole
really know
sequence
why,
is so
but
electric.
watching this makes me
So
extremely horny.
Fire!
There go the nukes. I think it's funny that the movie doesn't show us what they're firing these with because, in all honesty, the Fremen probably didn't have a nuclear launching device to do this, and we certainly didn't see anything back in the vault that would have been up to the task.
They're futuristic,
The Fremen
dude.
shot down
They're-
one of the
yeah,
bug
it's the
copters,
future.
but the other
the
two
future,
assholes
dude.
fly
Yeah.
into the dust storm and crash because they didn't learn the trick is just letting Jesus take the wheel. I thought this technique was for surprise attacks. So what good are these assholes if they come out of the sand but are still hundreds of feet away from the enemy? Don't you kind of want to stand your ground until they get there
That's
to
a
do
good
this?
point.
Otherwise, you're just part of the many, many fighters already running towards them.
Yeah.
Also, the
Oh, such a
Fremen
good
don't
point.
just sprint on the sand. They also practice their starts from under the sand. With this kind of athleticism on display, it's a shame we never get to see the Summer Olympics of 10,192, officially the games of the 2075th Olympiad. The Fremen don't have shields, so once again, the Sardaukar are idiots for not using guns. Baron seems to think that ascending to Emperor works like musical chairs, and that if he sits on the throne, he wins. And honestly, I would give all the sins back if, instead of knife fight, Paul and Fed played musical chairs at the end of this. You see, what makes Gurney Halleck so good is that he can walk in a straight line and kill a whole row of dudes just waiting for him one after the next. You never have to worry about being ganged up on when you're Gurney.
Look who's back from the dead.
Thanos vs. Drax Part 2 will be infinitely better this time because Thanos doesn't have the Reality Stone. This time... Oh, I see. Never mind. The rest of the Fremen and
That was
Harkonnen
pretty
just
quick.
watch because it's obvious that this particular fight is personal.
This isn't over yet.
Why do long movies always have this line?
I will love you as long as I breathe.
Not immediately holding your breath because it would be funny.
Take the hand of your daughter.
I would have figured this out on my own, but I'm going to give a huge shout out to Sam Stryker on Twitter, who brought up the fact that this is the second movie that Timothy Chalamet has spent being in love with one woman the whole movie just to marry Florence Pugh at the end of it.
May thy night.
Whoa, is that true?
What's the other movie?
May thy knife chip and shatter. Entire movie in love with a girl, but ends up
But ends up marrying Florence Pugh at the end. Hold on.
What's the other movie?
Florence Pugh, Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, is it like the King movie? Florence.
Wow. How do I Google both of them? Oh, Little Women?
Oh. Yeah.
Ah, okay. I guess I gotta watch Little Women next.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, Little Women. The Talk. Thank you, The Talk.
Thank you for the fact check.
Teddy was in love with Joe, but ended up marrying Amy. Wow. Hey, what up, Takako? All right.
Florence Pugh at the end of it.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
Like the shirt? No!
Octopus.
What? I do love octopuses. I think they're the best.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
I am so rooting for Fade, and that is all this movie's for. The movie makes it look like one character is Dune, but it's actually the other character who has been surprised, stabbed, or shot cliche. Also, we spent a whole movie building this maniac up just to have him die at the end. I guess they could always bring him back, but here he is. This series is Darth Maul. At least he lasted longer than the White Walkers. Man, this is goddamn painful. You can feel the hurt, confusion, and betrayal. Great performances by all.
Yes.
Here, take us in off.
I
But
love
also,
the
the movie
moment
leaves us with
when
this.
the only
It's a
three were
very
standing.
Empire Strikes Back ending. One will probably have to wait years to see how it resolves. The TV-fication of movies continues. Also,
it's annoying.
Lisan al-Gaib. Bum, bum, beep, bum, 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 bim, bum. Now you're just the one that I used to know.
Oh, okay.
I was
Your
wondering what
brother
that
attacks
bit
the
was
great
ramping up
houses.
for.
The holy war begins.
Next season on Dune.
Okay. All right.
If you're trying to escape on foot, the desert is 3 weeks in every direction.
I can't breathe in this thing.
We can fly! You can fly!
What is happening around here today? Are gringos falling from the sky?
I can no longer sit back and allow the international communist conspiracy to sap and impurify all of our precious bodily fluids.
She believes in you. She says.
Seize the day, boys.
If you want to fight with us, first thing you must learn.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
It's been a while since you've had one of those nightmares. Tell me, what was it about?
Nothing's clear. Only fragments.
Solenia, the pickle man.
The one who points the way.
Quick, give me some sugar. Come on, come on, come on.
Mine! Mine!
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Here they have come across the body of a tramp, which in itself is not so disturbing until it is turned over to reveal ants, ants, ants.
Do you know why? I killed him.
I haven't killed anybody since 1984. Go to this comedian's son's apartment, come back with something, tells me where that asshole went.
Don't you stick that knife.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, the format truly hasn't changed.
No,
I haven't
it's exactly
watched
the
Cinema
same.
Sins in years, and it's exactly what I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, the roll credits movie is something I joke about all the time, all these years later.
Roll credits,
Whenever
yeah.
somebody in the movie says the title of the movie,
Yeah.
I immediately, my knee-jerk reaction is think roll credits.
Yeah. Same.
Fun.
Yeah, and to God Eats Bagels. Yeah, basically. I mean, it's like only a few things that don't really make sense. There's some good observations. I love the concept of Abu. Do you have a favorite sin that he pointed out?
There were a couple of ones that definitely got me there, that made me laugh. I mean, what's funny is like they're like Cinema Sin's whole shtick a lot of the times is just calling out movie cliches because a lot of movies have to fall back on the same storytelling cliches.
Narration and
narration and
exposition.
So it's really just like it's funny when he calls out a thing that wouldn't make sense in real life, but you're watching a movie. So like, yes, of course, like Paul is going to be the first one to knock Gurney to the ground because we
Right.
need that for the narrative. No,
Yeah,
there were a couple of funny ones. I
coming
always
out
agree.
of the sand, like 100 meters from the
That's the one. That's
coming
the one
out of
that
the
got
sand
me for sure. Yeah, I'll vote for that one because legitimately, that's one that I didn't think about watching the movie on any rewatch.
Yeah.
But now that he points it out, I'm never not going to think about the fact that that strategy makes no sense.
Just every frame is going, fuck, we really misjudged
Shit,
the
they're still
distance.
like 100 meters away. What the fuck?
We could have kept waiting, and we could have killed them so
Yeah.
easily.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Did you have a favorite?
I like the what do the Harkonnen servants do?
Yes. Right.
Just like,
we got to show them killing their servants to show that they're bad guys. Yeah.
you imagine like you're on standing near Fade duty, like your job is just to be within arm's reach of him. You're like, I
Right.
don't say anything.
The most dangerous position.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Very cool. Very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. Glad to see CinemaSins is still out there and kicking.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay, the
Agreed.
talk in the chat just now said Dune Part 1 versus Part 2. Which one? Why would you make me decide between my two children? But it's Part 2.
Same.
Yeah, Part 2 was
It's
just
a better movie.
spectacular. It was on a whole another scale. And Part 1 was fun, but it had to do a lot of ground laying and setup. And Part 2 just got to go ham in a super fun
just
way.
a party. Yeah. Gola Fade, please, and the talk. How do we think Denis is going to handle hate in Dune Part 3? Yeah. I think Momoa has chops. I think like every movie I've seen Jason Momoa in where he's bad,
It's the
very few
movie's
people.
fault.
Yeah, very few people are good in those movies. It's not like
Right.
he's the one guy who I'm like, oh, this guy's so embarrassing and cringe. It's
Right.
always like there's the directors making weird choices, and the script is bad. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Aquaman's not bad because Jason Momoa is a bad Aquaman. He's a great Aquaman. Aquaman is
yeah.
good because DC doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, the script is terrible. They had him get pee in his mouth like 4 times in the first 20 minutes of that movie. It's insane. It's a bad movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Jason Momoa will actually do a great job as Hayden.
I think
I'm
so.
excited to see him work with a competent script and a great director.
true.
And, you know, a movie is more than just the writing or just the acting or just the cinematography, right? It's like all the scaffolding has to come together to support every other aspect of it, the sound design, the score. So I really do think like Jason Momoa has the juice to be hate. He'll pull it off.
He's got the Jameis juice flowing through his veins. And let's see. God Eats Bagels. Since the ECAS episode, pretty good. Thank you for listening.
What the hell was the ECAS episode?
Oh,
Ancient history.
Yeah, I know. But that's how long God Eats Bagels has been listening.
Wow.
So pretty good.
Glad you've been with us on this golden path for so long.
It's been a minute. Glad you're not tired of us. And Sylvain, yeah, maybe at some point. The Cinema Wins videos, I always find so many of them are, like so many of the wins are, like I like CinemaSins for challenging something that I like and pointing out, to Abu's point, the like cliches in filmmaking that we've all gotten used to and don't think about it anymore. I think that is where CinemaSins is really powerful. So I can see something that I love, and it doesn't make me love it less to be like, that doesn't make sense for Paul to drop the knife at that point. He should hold on to it in case there's another fucking guy around. Like, it doesn't make me love the movie less. But Cinema Wins is often just giving credit for things that I find myself sitting there going, yeah, it doesn't deserve credit for that. Or I don't, okay, sure, I guess. And that is not as fun for me. I also walk away from CinemaSins still very much respecting the movies and enjoying the movies and stuff. Just being more cognizant of like filmmaking as an art form versus Cinema Wins is like, yeah, we can all talk about how much we love different parts of it. So I'll probably watch it at some point, but I don't know if we need to comment on it.
What is it's the same guy? He
No,
just
it's
does the
a
opposite?
different channel.
It's a different channel that just
Yeah.
took this guy's shtick.
Yeah, but they give points for all of the good things they do in movies.
Right. So they like took this guy's format basically and
Yeah.
did the same thing.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
And I guess it's just different enough or whatever that they
Interesting.
dodge that stuff.
Should we maybe do like cinema?
What? Like just neutral call
Neutral.
outs?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a word for like just meh. Like I had no reaction to this. Just super middle of the road.
Yeah. That'd be so weird. We're here to talk about all the things that neither rub us the wrong way or the right way. We're just here to talk about the least effective moments in this movie.
The ways the credits scrolled up the screen. Love it.
Yeah.
Like
I really liked
credits
that.
have always scrolled.
You know, I found a lot of the text legible.
Right.
Yeah.
Cinema meh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hate juice jokes being made here in the chat.
Hate
and I just
juice.
want to call out
Haterade.
Haterade. Love it. And
Classic.
also the drink of choice for Kendrick Lamar whenever he thinks about Drake.
Yeah.
Cinema mids.
Cinema-
That's it right there.
But I feel like mid
something that's
mid is kind of a diss though, isn't it?
it is negative connotation, correct? Yeah.
Yeah,
But you know,
elements of
we
children
would
do
make the channel like the premise of the channel would be like self-explanatory once you watched a video. You know, cinema mids.
Yeah. Middle of the
Yeah.
path.
Honestly, that is. We've talked about this before, especially in our 1984 coverage of the film. Like something that is mid is almost more infuriating for having wasted my time.
Yeah.
You know, because it's
Yeah.
the most recent example of this is The Acolyte. The Star Wars show Acolyte.
Yeah.
That season just ended. In my opinion,
Sure.
super mid show.
Yeah.
All the way through. And what's infuriating about that is you can see the parts where it could have been so good. Like the thing that makes a middling piece of property so annoying is that there's like you could see how it could have been so good.
Yeah.
And then it just fucking fumbled the bag over and over and over. That's exactly how I felt about Acolyte. Like I'd rather something be so bad that I passionately hate it or be so good that I absolutely love it.
Well, I think the thing is, if someone makes something that you hate, like you're like, oh, I despise this, it's kind of hard to do that, to truly do that without making some sort of strong choice. And making a strong choice, I think, is far more entertaining than just like, I don't know, making no choice. And just like, I don't know.
I
so,
agree. Yeah, totally.
I think to your point, for sure, things that are awful are more fun to watch, for sure. But also, I think I would much rather be like, I don't like this because I don't like the direction it's going in, versus I don't like this because they didn't give a shit or they didn't like pay someone to fucking think about it for another day or two. There were sequences in Book of Boba Fett that I was like, who's in charge? Like, how do you make something this mediocre with this much talent everywhere? Like, so many people are working so hard. How is the script this bad? Like, I don't understand.
The answer, from my experience, is always just like top down.
Yeah, it's the studio.
Always...
It's like timeline. It's
Yep.
Forced reshoots, whatever.
Yes, and Sylvain from the chat, I do agree. Acolyte, one of the things it had going for it was the
Choreography.
absolutely incredible
So cool.
fight scenes and choreography. And I think Kymir and Manny Jacinto, iconic, one of the best Sith we've ever gotten in Star Wars history.
Yeah.
B, Vertigo. This is funny. Yeah, basically what I'm saying is either be The Room,
yeah,
or be Dune Part 2. You know,
Yeah.
those are the two ends of the spectrum. And of course, everything kind of falls somewhere in the middle anyway. But yeah, I do always. This happens to me with anime a lot. Like what did I watch? I watched Kaiju number 8 recently, but it was kind of just always on in the background because it was like really mid. Like I can't say I disliked any part of it.
It's good. It's so
I
good.
didn't say I didn't dislike. I didn't walk away and be like, "Wow, that was stupid. I shouldn't have watched that." But also, I didn't walk away being like enlightened or wanting to gush about it with anybody. Like I was just like, I'm gonna forget about that by next week. And that show like kind of wasted my time for so long. Maybe it gets better. People say the manga gets better, so maybe
How far have
season 2
you?
will be
Did you
good.
see all of it?
Yeah, I watched the whole
Oh.
season.
Oh, I feel like
it was kind of acolyte in nature, like amazing animation and fun fight scenes,
Yeah.
but like nothing really happened. Like it just the characters didn't go anywhere really.
Yeah, I think
so.
I think a lot of this season was just getting us to the point where he is now part of the Defense Force as Mr. Kaiju, you know,
Yeah.
but then as John Kaiju, but also the seeds that they've planted of there are other ones out there who organize these like crazy level things. Like
Yes.
I can see them setting up like later stuff. And then in the meantime, I was just enjoying the like one punch like insanity
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, there were some
Yeah, gorgeous
sequences in that
animation
where I
for
was like,
sure.
this is so hype. I get so excited.
Yeah. And again, like by no means am I saying I disliked it.
Yeah.
I watched all of it. I committed
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the whole season, but it just wasn't like memorable enough. And I'll have to be really convinced to watch season 2.
What a great outro song too. Nobody loves you. the
Oh,
way
that
I
song is a
do.
bop though, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Well, I think that's basically all we have today. And
I believe so.
should we say what we're doing on Sunday? I'll keep it a secret.
We're doing something on Sunday?
Not for them, but like for us and then later for them. The recording, we're doing a recording on
hold
Sunday.
I gotta pull up the old
Check the
calendar. Let me
Good
look at this calendar here.
Yeah, you can decide if we're going to tell them or not.
Oh, that's right.
JH, yes, we are absolutely going to talk about the new game. I'm going to play the shit out of it.
The upcoming game? Yes.
Also,
Dune Awakening.
I should have known, Sylvain, that you're French. Well, de rien and enchanté. And
We can tell them what we're doing on Sunday.
We are. Oh, I'm excited. We're recording our watch along Dune Part 2 commentary. So for anybody who enjoyed the first watch along commentary, you'll have one for Dune Part 2 in a few weeks.
Coming out soon, in 2 weeks.
Oh, and Sylvain, I'm going to be in France in like 2.5 weeks. So there you go.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out, folks. This was super fun. Again, we will leave the stream up on the Lore Party YouTube channel for folks who didn't catch it this time around. So if you missed the beginning where we talked about Dune Prophecy or whatever, feel free to go back and watch the replay. But thank you all for hanging out so much. Thank you all for being the best and listening to the show and sharing it and being on this wild golden path with us. We're not quite sure where it ends, and we're too afraid to check our pressing abilities to find out. So
Indeed.
it's all a surprise.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your night. And we'll talk to you soon. We'll probably bye.
And I like you the way I do.